What is up, guys? Zane from playbook.gg, and in this video we're going to talk to you about the best coaching adjustments and when to use them. Before we dive into this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of the great tutorials that we've got headed your way here on the playbook.gg YouTube channel. Now let's go ahead and go into our coaching settings. These are things that you can change on the fly in Madden, and there are coaching adjustments on both sides of the ball. Offensive adjustments are going to be things like your ball carrier, your blocking, your deep pass catching, and your intermediate pass catching. Now, I personally do not use the latter two, the deep pass catching or the intermediate pass catching, so I like to leave those as balanced. The first two, on the other hand, are settings that you should toggle on and off situationally. When you run with your ball carrier on aggressive, he will have a higher chance of triggering auto broken tackles. So if you take a look at your player's BTK rating, that's your break tackle rating, it's going to complement that rating. If you have a high rating, you can kind of run with the aggressive on. It's even better if you have a high carry rating, but the con is definitely that you will have an increased fumble chance. Now, a lot of players out there think that there are running backs that you can run out there on aggressive with. Typically speaking, if you have a really high carry rating, high 90s, you can get away with running on aggressive a little bit, but I would never encourage you to play 100% of your downs on aggressive, because your ball carrier can also be a receiver after the catch that does not have a high carry rating. So this is something that you should reserve for maybe a 4th and inches where you want to run the ball, where you want that play through contact, those broken tackles. Conservative is something that you want to use at the end of the game when you're milking the clock. You just want to run the clock out, not fumble, maybe punt the ball away on 4th down and make your opponent have to drive the field with no timeouts. Conservative, much lower chance of fumbling the ball. Blocking, same thing. If you're getting shedded in the pass protection and run games, you can play aggressive, but the con is going to be that there's a likely holding penalty because they are going to hold their blocks a little bit longer. Conservative, I personally never use this. I would just play balanced. You're not going to get a holding call if you play on balanced. Holding calls do not exist in Madden Online unless you play on aggressive, and even then it will probably throw the flag once every 5 or 6 downs, so there's still about an 83% chance that you're going to get away with playing a specific down on aggressive. So 4th down and inches, I recommend aggressive on both your blocking and your ball carrier to make sure that you can get those inches and finish the game. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, we're going to talk quickly about those settings. Now, again, we already talked about auto flip. This is something you can disable or enable on the fly. So if you want to go between a blitz, leave auto flip off. If you want to go to run defense, turn it on, because you're not setting up a blitz. You just want gap integrity. Now, ball and air defense is going to be something that you can use to override your player traits. You have player traits that will basically tell them under the hood, if you do not click onto this player, he'll swat the ball if his trait is to swat the ball. Maybe his trait is to play the ball aggressively. He'll have an aggressive trait. These settings override your player traits, and they're going to tell the defensive backs, hey, when the ball is thrown, I want you to play the ball by default, I want you to play the receiver by default, or I want you to swat the ball by default. Whatever setting you play right here, you can override in-game. So when the ball's in the air, click on your own, and you can press any one of the 3 buttons to either play the ball, swat the ball, or play the receiver. So this is not something I personally use very often. Cornerback matchups. This is something that some players will use. You can line up by depth chart, which will place your number 1 corner on their number 1 receiver, your number 2 on their number 2, your number 3 on their number 3. Pretty straightforward. Route running is going to be man coverage rating against route running rating. So the highest route runner on the offense will get matched up by the highest man coverage player out of your cornerbacks. Very similar to the way depth chart is, but it's just organizing it by route running. By height, pretty self-explanatory, tall on tall, small on small. By speed, fast on fast. And by overall. So it's going to take the overall rating. This is something I do not recommend because Madden overall ratings can be very misleading. There could be 93 overall players that really don't play to a 93 overall rating, whereas an 83 overall player might have, 95 speed and play more close to a 90 overall receiver. I personally will leave this balanced, which will just determine based on normal gameplay settings, your auto flip alignments, your coverage alignments by default. If you start to go by speed, you will notice that there are sometimes bugs in the game where the game will automatically tell your corners on the opposite sides of the field to swap positions, and then the sidelines are wide open because your opponent snaps the ball while your corners are switching sides pre-snap. So that's something to be aware of. Option defense, very, very, very straightforward. If you want to play the quarterback, play conservative. If you want to play the running back and let the quarterback keep the ball, play aggressive. If you play balanced, it's going to typically do the smart thing. If it's a mobile quarterback, they're going to stay home on the quarterback. If it's a pocket quarterback like Tom Brady, they're going to play the running back. Pass rush, this one is the one to talk about. Pass rush is all about being on balanced, conservative, or aggressive. On aggressive, you're going to get incredible animations where your players are going to get off the ball, they're going to jump the snap, they're going to win with their power move or finesse move against the offensive lineman, and you're going to get to the quarterback a lot. Now, the con is that if your opponent likes to fake snap, run a hard count, there's a much higher chance of an offsides penalty. So you'll need to toggle this, sneak it in every now and then. You know, it's good to mix it in on a second down and long every now and then, or, you know, sometimes your opponent forgets to run the hard count on 4th and 17, so you can sneak it on aggressive there and get a free turnover on downs there. Conservative, on the other hand, really would not use this unless they're hard counting you when you're unbalanced and your players are jumping off sides. This is pretty rare, something that EA took out of the game for the most part. But every now and then you'll get an offsides call on a hard count. It's very, very rare though. Strip ball, this is basically your conservative aggressive again. Aggressive, more strip fumbles, but also more broken tackles. Conservative, less strip fumbles, but you're also going to have less broken tackles. Now, I personally don't like this because people spin. It's, you know, it's highly about spinning and making the defender miss, in which case the strip ball really doesn't matter. But this is just something for you to know. If you put strip ball and conservative, the AI will never strip, so you'll have to click on and manually strip, but the AI will try to play a regular tackle animation rather than strip the ball out. Tackling overall, very similar. If you play on conservative, they will not try to hit stick. This will give you more successful tackles, but more yards after contact on conservative. If you play on balanced, it's standard. It's going to be kind of a dice roll. You might play a hit stick, you might play a conservative tackle. They might get extra yards, they might not. It's just going to be pretty standard gameplay. Aggressive, you're going to go for computer hit sticks and a higher fumble chance. But again, much like stripping the ball on aggressive, you're going to have a higher chance of broken tackles and fake outs when your opponent plays a spin animation. So those have been your gameplay helper settings for Madden 19. If this video helped you guys out, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, as we're going to be uploading Madden 19 tips and tricks every single day here on the Playbook.gg YouTube channel. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck. If you like this video, check out one of the videos on your screen right now. And for more in-depth analysis, visit www.playbook.gg for detailed game plans written by pro Madden players. Master the game with Playbook.gg.